Hi everyone from this beautiful India. So as we spoke about in previous videos, I want to start a series about the Yamas and the Niyamas, the first two limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is a method and has 8 limbs: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. And Yamas and Niyamas are the 24-hour yoga. That's what we're doing each and every day of our life, of course, plus our asana practice and pranayama, and then the other limbs that will slowly start coming to us. But the first one, Ahimsa, non-violence, the first Yama. What is Ahimsa really? And remember that Yamas are the way that we relate to others in the world. So Ahimsa, if you see it like superficially, it means not harming. That's where vegetarianism comes from. That's where veganism comes from. It's not harming other beings, so for our own fulfillment in any way. But also Ahimsa is a little tricky. It's a little gray zone here, because what if we make decisions always looking for the approval of others? What if we don't move in our lives because we don't want to hurt other people? I have some examples, mine of course. I was a lawyer and I had this life, and suddenly I just decided to come to India and I started exploring, and then when I just touched this land, I realized this is what I wanted for my life, my yoga practice and teaching. And I went back to one of my bosses in Costa Rica, and he was this professor, and we were working together in the Attorney General office, and everything was very formal, and he told me that basically that I was crazy, that how was I going to like change my law career for India and becoming a yogi. And if I had listened to this person, and I'm sure he said it from a place of like deep concern for me of what was I doing with my life. I was crazy and just going like to get lost in a exotic country and forget about my law roots. But if I had listened to that person, that would have hurt me. So it's a very fine line between finding approval and taking the right action. And so when I find myself in this gray zone, I usually ask myself 3 questions to make sure the action that I'm taking has vision in some way or another. So the first question I ask myself, if I am doubting if this decision is honoring who I am or not, is, does this decision make me happy? And happiness is something that for me has really changed throughout the years. When I was younger, I used to think happiness was about feeling bubbly and feeling excited, and that made me happy. And like now that I'm more mature, I feel that what makes me happy brings me peace. Peace of mind and peace in my heart. And what makes me happy is acting according to my values, to my deepest values, to the sacred value of life. And respecting that for me makes me very happy. The second question I make myself is this decision affirming life? Because if a decision is not affirming life but is making other people happy, that's not a good decision for me. Even if a decision is not making us supremely happy, maybe it's even making us really, really sad, but we know that decision is going to affirm life, either our life or someone else's life, that's a good decision. Move forward. And then the third question, besides, does this decision make me happy? Does this decision affirms life? The third question is, does this decision affect others positively? And that's also a tricky one, because some decisions in the beginning, they look like really like horrible for others, but on the long term, they're gonna have good results. Not only for those others, but maybe for more people in the long run. So specifically, I want to tell you about my own life right now. I had to make a very hard decision to leave my country last year. And this was a decision that was not in my plans. I was looking forward to going back to Costa Rica but when I faced this decision, it was I made it in a week. And every day I will go through my yoga practice, my meditation, of course, pray for health to my guru, and then contemplate if this decision I was making was going to bring something positive in the long run, even though it might hurt me in the moment, even though it might be really hard for me. So I made this decision with a lot of trust that following your values and following whatever you believe in is the way. And who is the best example of Ahimsa in the world is Mahatma Gandhi. So the English were here for many, many years and they needed to leave. And his way of protesting was not through violence, was not through bullets or bombs. His way was fasting, or maybe walking with the people and making them understand that there was an identity that they needed to recover as Indians. And this created the whole beautiful movement of Satyagraha, a movement that still inspires us to move forward for our dreams in a very assertive way and to make decisions that sometimes are hard, but that are going to bring something better in the long run. So Ahimsa, not hurting others. There's two extremes of this equation. The Jains here in India, this is a religion that they use masks. They don't want to breathe any insect. They walk barefoot. They are very careful not to hurt any other sentient being. The way they eat also, it's very caring for the whole environment, not only humans but animals and even tiny bugs. And the other extreme is all these huge companies just killing our forests, contaminating the air, the atmosphere, just polluting the water, throwing tons of plastic in the oceans, not caring at all for what is ours. So in between these two extremes of being completely aware of everything and everyone around us and being completely careless, we should strive to find a middle path that respects who we are, but a middle path that also doesn't let anyone step on you. And I always think of this case if I am walking in Mysore, where we go once a year to meet our guru, and I see a friend of mine that is being attacked by someone. What would I do? Would I just contemplate and just keep going and walking because, oh no, it's not, I don't want to get into any violence because that's breaking Ahimsa? No, of course I would go and help my friend. And even if I get a punch, I'm going to just throw a punch to the robber or whoever is attacking her because I care for her, because I love her. So when there's something that we need to fight for, it brings out a lot of sometimes conflict in us because what is valuable for us may look violent to others. So be connected to what you believe in, be connected to who you are. And I know you're going to make the best decision, even though it may not be approved by others, even though it may create waves around us. All of us who have been to India, I think we have faced that. In my early trips, one of my bosses in Costa Rica, he told me that I was completely crazy to change my law career for yoga. He thought I was losing my mind. And I'm sure this person, we were working in the Attorney General office, he thought that genuinely I was making a big mistake in my life. But only you know what is good for you. Only you know what you value and what you really are passionate for. And in my case, I am fighting a very hard legal case for my 3 baby boys in Costa Rica. and I'm fighting for joint custody. Joint custody is something that is completely new in my country. And I knew that to be able to fight for that case, I needed to leave my country. I wouldn't be able to fight there because I was too sad and too depressed. I needed to come to India and recover and nourish myself and get strong, of course, and be close to my guru. And then I could give this fight with my whole intensity and passion. And that's what I'm doing right now. So my decision at some point could have been seen as violent, to leave my children. Yes, I have not been with my children for more than a year, but I'm fighting something that is going to eventually bring us together, and also that is going to benefit more people, because joint custody is the solution for many divorces where there's a lot of violence and grief and resentment, especially for the children. So the broader perspective, knowing if your decision affirms life, knowing if you're really convinced that your action is going to bring benefit to others, and of course a decision that makes you happy, a decision that affirms who you are, that really connects you to your deeper values, that for me is yoga. So yeah, yoga becomes a type of activism, an activism that is not looking for fight with anyone, but an activism that is ready to defend what is worth fighting for in this lifetime. It's either your family or someone you value, or your teacher, or your spiritual path. But we all need to be clear what we believe in and really have integrity to pursue our lives according to that. That for me is Ahimsa. Thank you so much. Namaste.